Thank you so much for having me here today. It has been my great honor to participate in the Texas Master Beekeeping Program. I've delayed submitting my information on my research study because I've been able to get into so many different places that just a Texas beekeeper would not be allowed to. I was able to work with the Sam Houston State University on Farm Bill fiscal year 2016. I was able to work with Texas A&M Honeybee Lab, Ant and Bee Research with Alex Payne. And then this final research, biological level BAL essay for Texas local honey samples, UTSA research. It has been an incredible journey and an incredible honor and very humbling to have worked with these universities. In this study, we will characterize the biological activity levels, BAL, of honey samples collected from beekeepers at different locations of Texas. Using biochemical analytical methods, we will determine the conformity features such as color, moisture, sugar, enzyme, protein, pollen, and HMF, as well as the antioxidant and antimicrobial properties of the honey samples. Eventually, we will calculate their BAL using our unique formula. Our long-term goal is to identify the biochemical fingerprints of Texas honeys. To achieve this goal, we will collect and analyze honey samples from 7 different regions of Texas with a homogeneous distribution, which are Big Bend Country, Gulf Coast, Hill Country, Panhandle Plains, Piney Woods, Prairies, and Lakes, and South Texas Plains. We will provide a short questionnaire for the beekeepers to identify the location, type, forage, nectar source, and harvest period of the honey with their contact information. These analyses will be performed by students at UTSA and students of science and technology under the supervision of Dr. Ferhat Ozturk during the spring of 2021. I would add that they are still doing those studies today. Results of our findings will be presented at the Texas Beekeepers Association annual conference and other students' conferences, as well as will be published at prestigious journals. The expected outcome of this study is that the Texas local honey sample with a high BAL can be promoted globally for therapeutic uses in complementary and integrated medicine studies for animal models in clinical trials. To participate in this study and receive a free honey BAL analysis, please send 4-ounce samples of your unique honey to the University of Texas in San Antonio, where the journey starts.
Hi, bee friends. It's 1st of April, and we harvested some honey, and I wanted to show you some interesting things we got going on this season. So I have multiple colors of honey and different tastes. We did a little bit of harvesting at different apiaries from starting with the south of Sanger and working our way down the west side of 35 towards the North Lake area. And you can see this is the lighter of the 3 honeys. And then you get over and you can see the darker honey. We haven't exactly done any kind of filtering yet. And then we have an even darker honey. Check that out. That is probably the darkest honey I've ever seen. And so, or at least that I've ever had. So it's going to be some interesting flavors at the market. I kept them separate so that I could bottle them, and you can kind of get an idea, but I wanted to take this video so you could see that we harvested this all. What's interesting is this lighter honey is further south, so I think there's a few more of the yellow flowers that have come out, and as we move a little bit darker, it gets further north. And this honey here is at the northernmost region of our hives. So anyway, we'll see you at the market this Saturday, bee friends, and it'll be something fun to try. Till next time.
My motivation, my goal, I want to help beekeepers across the state of Texas and beekeepers everywhere realize the true value of the work they do each and every day. It is one thing to say that one out of every bite of food we consume is a result of a honeybee pollination. That is just one fact that each beekeeper is helping to feed the world just by keeping the bees alive and thriving in an ever changing climate of varroa mites and now murder hornets. At the first World Bee Day in Slovenia 2018, as a beekeeping ambassador from the United States, I learned how other countries look at beekeeping honey and all the products from the hive. In Romania and Slovenia, they have schools that teach apitherapy. In Slovenia, each beekeeper is required to keep and have their honey tested every year. They have discovered one of the hardwood trees has a lot of the same properties as manuka honey. Discovering how the entire world sees honeybees and all the products from the hive inspired me to try and help Texas beekeepers and United States beekeepers start to see a greater value and realize all the health benefits. At the Slovenian Beekeeping Association, where they do all this testing, it's an incredible facility. I got to see a lecture from Frank Civic. He is the editor of their bee magazine for their country, and it's also called The Journal. He's written many beekeeping books and is very highly respected. It was an incredible opportunity. I also got to meet with Dr. Janko Bozic. He's the author of AZ Beekeeping with Slovenian Hives. It's one of the few, if not the only, book that teaches about Slovenian beekeeping. I was there as an ambassador and I got to participate in the inauguration and the declaration with the whole country there. It was incredible. And they unveiled this massive bee artwork. It was incredible to see the whole world come together to support beekeepers at a time when bees were going extinct. Once I returned to Texas from my 19-day stay in Slovenia, an opportunity opened at the Texas Beekeepers Association. I was appointed to run the Texas Honey Show at the annual fall convention. Pamela Yeamans, with the help of international superstar Ann Harmon, renowned Apimundia honey judge, and past author, editor of the book The A, B, C, and XYZ of Bee Culture, an encyclopedia of everything pertaining to the care of honey bees, hives, honey, implements, honey plants, etc., had revamped the Texas Honey Show. At the convention, I was also appointed to the Texas Beekeepers Association Board of Directors. For the next 3 years, I worked tirelessly attending beekeeping clubs, meetings all over the state, doing presentations on competing in a honey show, Apis mellifera carnica, Slovenian honeybees, the best way to rear your queens, my Texas Master Beekeeping major, apitherapy, the healing potential in your hive, top bar hive beekeeping, hygienic beekeeping. In the summer of 2019, I did a production at the TPA Summer Clinic. At each of the over 40 beekeeping clubs, I spent a few minutes talking about the Texas Honey Show and how to improve the way beekeepers bottle and preserve their honey to the customer. Ann Harmon would often say, "It should be as if the honey bee put the honey in the jar themselves with no human contamination. She was the head judge for the TBA Honey Show for 4 years. I focused teaching and educating about not heating your honey, or if it is necessary, to not heat it over 110 degrees. This protects the enzymes from being destroyed. Also, if you're going to store your honey for long periods of time, to let it crystallize and even speed up the crystallization of the honey to better preserve the enzymes. It is my honor to serve as a Texas Beekeepers Association Texas Honey Show Director for 5 years. With board members serving a maximum of 2 2-year terms, I got to work with quite a few men and women passionate about beekeeping and beekeepers. With all the board members' help and permission, I was able to add to the Texas Honey Show categories. In total, there were 29 categories you could enter into to compete and learn. We focused the judging on feedback and had multiple judges equaling 2, 3, and sometimes 6 judging sheets worth of feedback on each of the entries. The Texas Beekeepers Association member board, and myself included, wanted to give Texas beekeepers as much information as possible to improve their honey and how Texas honey is seen all over the world. We succeeded. Lance Wilson won Best Black Jar Honey in Texas and was sent on to win the national honey competition. At the national level, they send the honey off to the German lab for testing all aspects of the honey. Lance Wilson brought the prestigious award home to Texas and a substantial amount of prize money. Monica Swasiak won the Sweepstakes Award, which is the winner of the overall Texas Honey Show. She then went on to the national convention to win the same award, including the best honey in the United States, further putting Texas honey and its incredible quality in the national spotlight. After the passing of Ann Harmon, TBA was able to bring in the judge, Bert's English, from Georgia, a Welsh trained judge. I worked tirelessly to maintain the high standards and information-filled judging sheets to continue educating and elevating the Texas beekeepers and their honey. In 2018, I was contacted by Roger Farr, board member of THBEA, Texas Honey Bee Educations Association, to create a new bee guide to the Texas Beekeepers brochure. After submitting several drafts and reviews, once a final draft was complete and reviewed by Mary Reed and others from the Texas Apiary Inspection Service, the first 5,000 brochures were printed and sent out to beekeeping clubs all over the state. I also contributed a photo to the brochure, Queen Bee and Workers, located on the instruction to the beekeepers page. When we were putting this together, there was 2 other master beekeepers that were helping me. One woman who helped me the most was named Linda. We were talking about how do we do this? What we do in March in North Texas isn't the same thing in March in South Texas. And we came up with the idea there are seasons all over this world. So what do we do during these seasons? So I typed up a full page on every season, fall, winter, spring, summer, a full page. And yet it had to be a brochure. And I sent it to Linda and I said, Linda, can you edit this down for me? And she said, I'm so good at saying a lot with few words. And she helped edit everything down. And I'm so grateful. It's an incredible brochure and it has taught beekeeping to so many people. I spend my free time working with new beekeepers of all ages and stay with them and instruct them for an entire year. I help each start 2 hives and work and teach them how to take care and maintain healthy hives. I've worked with 25 new beekeepers, getting them to their first honey harvest and beyond. Teaching and educating beekeepers across the state of Texas was just the lead up to the Dr. Faret Arstok at the University of Texas in San Antonio study. His article, Honey as a Therapeutic Agent, first published in The Fountain, May June 2018, and then in the Texas Beekeepers Association Journal, February 2020, caught my attention. J. Swan, a member of the TBA Texas Honey Show team, and the then vice president of TBA called me. I was emailed all the details on the Texas Local Honey Biological Activity Level BAL project and put an article together for the Texas Beekeepers Association Journal. It is an incredible opportunity for every beekeeper in the state of Texas to have their honey tested free of charge. Such tests average from $150 to $300. The testing information and form was published in the September-October 2020 edition of the Texas Beekeepers Association Journal edition by the editor, Chris Doggett. Because of COVID-19, the annual TBA convention was moved online, but I still held the TBA Honey Show competition and judging. Entries were mailed in and dropped off. We had 115 entries, around 48 honey entries. In 2020, the Texas Beekeepers Association Honey Show team showed up, and I want to recognize them here. At the top left, Danny Johns. The bottom left, Pamela Yeamans, Greg Orman, Scott Davis, Nanette Davis, Elizabeth Fichte, Sandra Smith, myself, Robin Young, Barbie Rose, and Jimmy Oakley. These people came out and showed up so that the study and the samples could be collected and so that the honey show could still happen in a time when we didn't know what we know today. They were very brave for all of you, for all the beekeepers in Texas. So much they did to help make this happen. And I am grateful. We are all grateful to them. Thank you. Thank you so much. Once judged, I took the honey and poured each one into its specific container of 4 ounces. I then marked, labeled, and sent them off to the university lab. Years of educating Texas beekeepers and their hard work in their hives will now be fully realized by the public and the world. It has been my great delight to have worked with beekeepers all over the state. I love my beekeeping family immensely and will strive to publish and push out all the findings once Dr. Faret Ozturk and the University of Texas at San Antonio have completed the research. Currently, the research is still ongoing as they strive to acquire and test honey from every region of Texas. The tests that were done was the H2O2 test, hydrogen peroxide test, the XTT, cell viability and proliferation test, the zone of inhibition, the total phenolic content assay, the TFC, the total flavonoid content assay, the DPPH, radical scavenging assay, RSA, pH and moisture content. Now, the color designation of honey, that's something that we work at the Texas Honey Show. You pick the color of your honey based on this data to enter into which category at the Texas Honey Show. So he took color into consideration in his study. The data. A part of ongoing research, use discretion. Dr. Ferret Ozturk has generously provided me with 10 results of the almost 200 tested honeys to date. All were gathered and judged at the Texas Beekeepers Association Honey Show in 2020 during the COVID-19 lockdown. This is a testament of beekeepers across the state and the Texas Honey Show team. These 10 he generously gave to us. As we look at the data, and you see the bioactivity level there, 93.17% at the top. That was the highest one out of just these 10. And the lowest is 43.96. When I look at all this data and all this information from the Honey Show experience and my experience with beekeeping, I first noticed the moisture content. And the one that had 93.17% has a moisture content of 21.5. Which is high. In a Texas Honey Show, that might even disqualify you. That even borderlines on potentially fermenting and becoming mead. It's fascinating that the moisture content is high in this one. So you start asking yourself questions like, is the bioactivity level higher with uncapped honey than capped honey? Is that the reason? I'm not sure, but let's look at the next level. The next one is 86.37. And its moisture content is 16%, which is a very dry honey. And the moisture may not have that big of a factor in it because there's only roughly 7 points difference between the two. And then you look at the bottom, the one that 43.96%, and its moisture content is 17.9. And that is a little bit high, but about mid-range there. And yet its bioactivity level is lower, less than 50%. It is very important to respect Dr. Ferhat Ozturk's research. And when he comes out and he will answer all these questions, the data will explain everything. This just brings more questions in mind. So what about the color? We look, and the one with the 93.17%, it has amber colored honey. And the second one is amber. And the third there that's at 84.25% is a dark amber. Does the flowers have that much of a difference? Does the color of the honey have that much of a difference that is naturally given from the nectar and the pollen? And then look, you look at the bottom. The light honey, there's a light amber at 45.56. So how do the light ambers rate? The study is completely fascinating. All this data, all these explanations as to what is really causing that bioactivity level. What can we do as beekeepers in harvesting our honey to get the highest possible bioactivity level possible and not damage our honey so that our customers are getting the best of Texas. This data is incredible. It helps teach us to realize when we should harvest our honey. Should it be capped? Should it not be capped? The location down to the time of year. It's important for us to get the highest quality, to have every enzyme, everything into that honey for the customer, for their healing properties. This data is so important. When it's done, when it's completed, we will have many answers for many people. And some answers in some regions may be different than the answers in other regions. Maybe the fall's the best time in some places to harvest. Maybe the spring is the best time to harvest. Or maybe the summer dearth. It's so important, this study. There's so much here that people haven't even yet to comprehend. How we can heal people with our honey and be sure that all the healing properties are in there. It's an incredible study, and I am humbled and honored to be a part of it. The perfect honey. That's what I spent so much time teaching beekeepers all across this state. What is the perfect honey? And this study is the research to find that out. And that there are perfect honeys in every region. Maybe your honey isn't Manuka honey, but you know what it is? It's all the pollens that's in that area that person is suffering from allergies that needs it. And yet it has all these other healing potentials as well. Your honey is valuable to all of the people in your region. Please see and understand that. And this study will help confirm it. These are more things that I talked about. How to jar your honey, how to handle it, how to present it to your customer, to let them know what it is. I've spent years educating Texas beekeepers. Their hard work and their hives will now be fully realized by the public and the world. It has been my great delight to have worked with beekeepers all over the state. I love my beekeeping family immensely and will strive to publish and push out all the findings once they're completed. And the university may choose to keep taking honey in because every year, every harvest is just a little different. Take advantage of this opportunity to be a part of something greater than yourself. If all the science and professors' research, tests, and studies do not convince you honey has healing properties, you can look to the Bible. God Himself is telling you, pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bone. Proverbs 16:24. Blessings and healings to you and your family, bee friends. Thank you so much for letting me do this presentation for you. I cannot emphasize the importance of it. I can't wait until the final results come out. What you do every day heals people, prolongs life, and keeps us healthy. You are a treasured beekeeper. But thanks to the Texas Master Beekeeping Program, I got to be so much more. I am humbled. Thank you very much for all your help. So many people have helped me. Thank you. Texas will benefit. The future will benefit. One bite of every 3 is thanks to all of you. Thank you.